the sports car race in September.
Ask TSD if they can hear you.
TSD, can you hear us?
Okay, sure.
Yes. We also have several people as attendees, and there's a phone number too. Do you happen to know if I need to unmute them?
Oh, you need to go ahead and let them in. We knew we were gonna have lots of people join this meeting.
I was between 90 and 100 on Main Street. Yeah, it's like cars hard to sweat, hard to break in a sweat. Well, yeah. So as long as we can behave, they keep the pace up there, there's not that for one. Everybody was behaving. Well, sure. So we got to go faster. If you don't behave, they
There's Mark for the Hilly.
they poke along.
Let's see, Mark.
What
Edinger.
you guys do at the 2:30, 2:35?
Hi, sorry, I'm just testing to make sure my
They've
phone
got,
is working.
they've got some guys.
Got
Let's see,
the
who
big,
else do we have with us?
They'll go right to the.
Okay, so state police pursuit idiots.
No.
There's Wada, she's with
Now interstate with other cars, semis,
the Hilly also.
like, it's mind blowing.
No, yeah,
Can you hear me?
Watch that stuff.
Yes,
super dangerous.
Yes, you can hear me?
yes, I can hear you.
Thing to do.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Okay, sorry.
It's Mark. Who is that? Who is calling from the 908-616-5925?
That's me. I'm David Carr. My number's from New Jersey, but I live in Bloomington.
And which
I was
item
told
are
to join
you?
this.
Which
I'm
item are you
about a
with?
stop sign on, like a four-way stop sign on, Rogers and that road. I think is
Rogers
what
and
I
that
called them.
road. Okay, David Carr, thank you.
Thanks.
I think that's all I need for attendance right now. So we got Reed and Joe.
No, you have to have Toby. Paul's not a voting member.
Oh, that's right.
So we're waiting on Toby.
He said he's on this. In order.
Check in or anything?
Hi,
Just
which item are you with?
Times.
At Harvest Lane and Weather Sports.
And your name?
Sean, SHAWN Williams.
Thank you.
Hi.
He's been putting us in the old table. And Toby's with us.
That's,
My own printer.
I didn't print anything.
I've got an extra if you need it.
You have an extra?
Yeah, I was in it.
Ooh, packet.
Toby's not gonna print his.
You're awesome.
All right, it's 2:30. I'm gonna call We'll call the August 15th, 2024 Traffic Commission meeting to order. We need to approve the minutes from the May 16th meeting. We haven't met for a couple of months, so.
I'll make the motion to approve the minutes as submitted.
Second. Motion and second. Any questions? How do you want us to vote today? Saying aye or? raise your hand?
Yes,
Say aye.
yes.
All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passed. Old business, item 3, signage on Ketchum Road for horses and bicycles. Page 5 in your agenda. Okay, remind us about this, Paul, here.
Yeah, it's a request to play, actually nothing to do with bicyclists, but request for equestrian signs on Ketchum Road because of horse activity on that road between let's say, the owner's property there on Ketchum Road up through to the, creek access there on Fluck Mill Road, so.
And then back up towards, Kitchen Road roundabout,
Oh, the runaround,
yeah.
okay.
You're here to chat about this, I assume?
Yes.
Well, why don't you go ahead? What's your name?
Well, they call me Trish Lee. I've had this stables for 40 years. And, it seems that there's more people due to housing developments and what have you that moved in right next to me, but it just seems like they don't realize that the county roads are also for horses or whatever. And I take kids out, usually 9 years old and up. But they just are, I don't know, they just aren't, they don't realize that horses are part of it. I've always wanted to get into horse and buggies too, and now that I'm retired, I'm looking seriously at getting into that too. And so I'm hoping to be able to exit out my road and go over and get into the other county roads that are right off of Ketchum and just play with the horse and buggy. But we take out, I was gonna bring you pictures and I didn't get to them, but we take out as many as 5 horses at a time and you go down the road. But it's just like, I don't know, they just don't realize that horses are part of society. They're part of the county system, the legal rights to ride on county road. Or maybe even in-town road, but I originally bought signs. I was originally told by somebody on the phone that if I bought the signs that the county would erect them, and then after I bought them, I was told that no, can't just do that.
By the same person?
Pardon me?
Was it by the same person?
No. The person on the phone told me one thing, and then when I said, you want me to bring the signs to here, bring them here, and then he said, well, you gotta talk to Paul, the engineer, and I think they referred me to Lisa or somebody, and
Me.
the last time I tried to talk to you, I was on the way to a funeral in Cleveland, Ohio, and it was kind of,
Right,
yeah.
right.
But I just like to bring awareness, and the bicyclers and the bicycle clubs, they're aware of the road too. And they like to ride through there because it's kind of scenic, and they even emailed in about, that's where the bike come in on this, because the bike club was interested in signage too.
Is there something universal that just catches
That's,
activities like that?
Well, we've got a number
Because
of,
once we start getting nailed down to a certain activity in a certain area, and I don't know where it stops.
we have share the road bicycle signs pretty much all over the county. I'm not sure when those were installed, but
Those have probably been up for probably, I would say 15 to 20 years.
there's probably a program back then to raise awareness for that. We've had horse and buggy requests. I forget the name of the road, and you probably know which one that was for the horse and buggy.
it's in
Fine.
here. Well, maybe it's not, maybe I didn't.
Rockport Development.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's in here, Rockport Road, Devon.
We've had that
Foods.
request, and this would be,
Is that something we did?
Yeah. The horse and buggy signs, we did those back in 2017 when Amish families moved in.
And I guess I'd look at, when you're looking in the MUTCD, it's stating that these types of signs should only be used at locations where the road user's sight distance is restricted.
Repeat that again, Lisa.
So when you look under the vehicular traffic warning and non-vehicular warning signs, it says the such sign should be used only at locations where the road user sight distance is restricted or the condition, activity, or entering is unexpected where you're entering, but it reflects that if there's a sight distance issue, it's not just giving permission for the horses to be out on the road.
Um, there is curves and hills and everything else through there.
That's pretty much Monroe County.
Yeah,
Everywhere.
that shouldn't be any problem satisfying that requirement.
And I'm not, I know I come up and I think I spoke with you at, where, I guess my point would be, where do you stop? If you start installing horse signs here and you have another
Skateboarding
situation
there.
down the road that somebody wants to ride their skateboard in the road, or if you have somebody that wants to walk their pet pig in the road. I guess,
That's why I was asking if there's anything universal. We have some type of activity that can warn people that we need to slow down or need to pay attention.
Yeah, the universal sign I bought was, shared road and had bicycle walkers and horses on it. I thought that was
Is
kind
there
of,
anything that we use just as a warning sign, Paul?
Well, we use the share the road sign with our bicycle signs, so that's why I proposed the,
and that was all set up through the bicycle club,
correct.
and they did that.
So I was proposing something similar to that, to where it would be, you know, share the road with, the equestrian signage.
I got snowmobiles.
That,
But, you know, I agree with all that. On the other hand, there is an immediate issue with horses. You know, there may be one
Is there?
that's no, well, yeah, there is.
I've
You
been
stole
on
it.
that road for 40 years, but it's gotten worse. I've had people holler at me, tell me to get off the road. And, it's just
I
like,
don't know that a sign stops that.
no, but it might raise awareness to be cautious. You know, they are here, just like the owner signs, they are here. You know, I don't know how to monitor people. I mean,
I don't know how to monitor people's behavior,
yeah,
such as that.
I've had 2 dogs hit and people don't even stop. And there's Carmichael's dog was on a leash that was hit and the lady didn't stay. She stopped, but she went on. But I don't know, it's just kind of, you know, I'm a little leery sometimes of taking, get the mail. You know, but
I have had horses my whole life, so I'm.
yeah,
And I'll just tell you, the road is not a safe place to ride.
well, yeah. But if I go into this bugginess, they'll have to inspect the buggy because legally I'm allowed to drive the buggy.
Yep.
I've got one lady who wants me to take her buggy right now. I've got another one I'm looking at. You know, it shouldn't be restricted to,
Join. She said she
You know,
needed it and she
to
can't
just,
decide on anything.
other people saying it's just for cars, you know, the county roads.
Oh, I don't know that anybody in this port sends just for cars.
I've never said that.
Roxanne, can you let Amanda join the meeting? Sorry.
Yes, I've allowed her mic.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Sorry about that.
Yeah. Some people are respectful and then some people are, boom, I tried to slow one guy down one time, he just literally stepped on the gas.
Much faster. My flagman every day, see that and hear that.
We wish they'd pay attention to our speed limit signs that are out there, and they typically get ignored also.
Really do.
It's very frustrating.
Is there any way to get the county, police
You'd have to take enforcement up with the sheriff's department.
yeah. Because,
And that's a good time to get a license plate number.
yeah,
I know when my guys have trouble, like our flagmen that are flagging a construction site or something, and we get, you know, angry people and they don't wanna wait, they want the road fixed, but they don't want us to take the time to fix it, so. I mean, I instruct our guys to make, hey, you know, we don't want problems, but if you do have problems, try to get a license plate number.
Let's go back here to Paul's recommendation then. What are you really recommending, Paul?
If, look at the drawing and did you get a copy of my proposal?
no, but
Do you have an extra?
You know, it's fine.
And just, I tried to highlight the area that you've got horse activity, but that was just based on the correspondence that was going back and forth. You know, starting at your home, I guess, at, 7161 and going up to, the Fluck Mill intersection and then down along Fluck Mill to the creek area.
yeah. We come up, towards the roundabout and, go through the high lines. And I've got permission from Indiana Limestone to ride the quarry. And then I've got permission to ride the Twin H Tree Farm. And so the high lines take us to those different places.
Are you on Old State Road 37 with horses? Then, or,
I don't like to. I don't like to get over there. I used to have a trail system that went through the woods and then the older people die off and the younger people are like, I want you right through there. But so I'm forced out into the road now.
you go past the, catch 'em run around then, or?
The roundabout, not really. I just kind of come over and jump into the high lines and get off the roads. But yeah, I used to keep the kids and myself off the roads, but like I said, the older people that was more sharing and what have you, have died off, and the new society is all about, you know, no.
Are you the only person with horses on the road?
I've been there 40 years and I've known, you know, to be on the roads. You know,
You're the only one in this area with horses.
yeah, the only other guy that has horses, but he's got a bigger farm, is over on Rockport Road. Wayne Albright. I don't know if he has anybody that rides to his place or not.
And I want to say,
Sir,
did we look and see if any requests ever came through in that area before? Because now that you mentioned that, I want to say that was brought to the board years ago and was denied.
when Wayne
For
was on
that.
Duval,
One way. Yeah,
Yeah, when I did the research, this one for the horse and buggy was all I found.
I think I am. Does that not sound familiar to you? You've been in here as long as I have, a little
Yeah, I've been here so
longer.
long, I'm beginning to forget things.
I know, I hear you.
Wayne was on.
I want to say Wayne had brought in,
Wayne used to be on Duval.
We still had horse and buggies when I first got on the traffic commission. you know,
I believe that.
That's how you got here,
That's
wasn't it?
right, I always rode one.
I was thinking it was something that was denied at the time for that request in that area for horses on the road. But that's been a while.
So do you wanna do this, or do you wanna wait until I get my horse and buggy activity going? Cause
Is that a different sign?
Oh, yeah, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a horse and buggy
Yeah.
sign.
There's
I got a horse and buggy sign.
a buggy
Mhm.
sign somewhere in there.
You see him down Montgomery and in there, see all the.
Yeah, you got the Amish territory.
Oh,
yeah.
See a
Yeah,
lot of
you
them.
see the trail, the tractor leaving. Too, with them boron shoes.
Uh-huh.
well, yeah. Second board.
Oh, they leave the tractor.
Yeah, it's on that page.
What kind of shoes they use?
They have boron in the bottom of them, because the regular shoes, it's slick on. the
Glide.
Yeah.
So they put little spots that bore on, they weld on the bottom of them shoes that give it some traction.
Yeah. Grip.
And those buggies, they're usually knock out the same tracks over and over and they'll dig a trench.
I bet they will.
Yeah,
At least down in those communities where it's a lot of horse and buggy.
Well, what's everybody think? We wanna hear a motion here or?
Is there something? Is there just do you have to put the horse thing? Can you just do the share of the road? Do they have to go
No.
together?
they usually go together and, I mean, no different than the bicycle share the road thing. It's similar.
Well, that's.
You're getting at, it's like, it could be bicycles, it could be
It
buggy.
could be bicycle, it could be horse and buggy, it could be unicycles. Once we start nailing down each activity, how many signs are we gonna have to buy? How many different signs?
Well,
Well, we've got
that's told by
tractor
Bob.
signs too.
Not very many, only, and some of those were only because of some situations of the property owner owning land on both sides of the road and trying to get his equipment
Yeah.
with his other piece of land. So we don't just have tractor signs everywhere. Those were just unique situations.
Yeah, we got cattle
So,
crossing. on
and we did
Bremen
we did a cattle crossing one for Vernal Pike or for Woodyard Road. That was for our trail project and that was for a right of way issue. So those I know
Street. Yeah,
were
Brummels
unique
Creek's got a
situations,
cattle crossing too.
What, look,
probably because the property owner owns both sides.
take a look at page 10. And up here in the middle of the page, what does that, I can't read it, what does that leftmost sign say? I see share the trail, but I mean, is there a share of the road? What's the respect part of it here?
All of these are not
Those are for
signs, those are for trails only, they're not for
They
roads.
don't apply
They're
for
found
roads.
at
That's right.
National Park.
Sorry, I apologize. Okay.
Here's an end user perspective of a non-council member that's not an expert. And I don't think it matters what you put on the sign. I think a horse is fine since she has a lot of horses that use that area. You put the UFO or whatever, if the desired action is to pay attention and slow down a little bit, doesn't really matter what the sign content is, the picture or.
Yeah,
Okay, I'm done.
yeah, this one here has to share the road behind the
Right.
roads.
That's what he's recommending, actually.
Yeah,
I kind of disagree with that statement there. Personally, if I see share the road, I think that's a really nice sign, but I don't know what it means. You know, what am I concerned about here? Yes, I'm gonna share the road, but if there's a lot of bicycles, I'd rather see a bicycle. And if there's gonna be a horse, I want to see a horse. If there's gonna be both, I want to see both. You know, in other words, I want to know what I'm looking out for.
well, the bicycle club route through there quite a bit. They come up Rockport, Fort Victor and hit Pluck Mill, then they come on Ketchum Road. But, sometimes I see them in groups of 7 to 15. Then sometimes there's just a few stragglers that come through. Whatever. And they're pretty decent when we come through. They usually, slow down or stop. When they're coming by. Most of my horses, I've trained to learn to ride on roads because my kids that come through my barn, like to do the parades. We do, several parades around and, they need to be traffic aware. That just helps with the parading event itself. So actually, when I do ride the roads, it's benefit the horses for the upcoming parades.
Would the horse and buggy sign catch at least both activities, or are we gonna add another horse and buggy sign? She comes back for the buggy.
That's a good point. That's a good point. If you had a horse.
And then we're gonna have bicycle signs as well.
I don't know if they still are out there now. Or not.
What, bicycle signs?
Share the road, I mean, they're kind of here, there and everywhere, but
Well, I mean, I think Toby's first point at least is that a horse and buggy sign would tell you to be looking for a horse.
Mhm.
You know, whereas just the horse doesn't tell you there's a buggy. So I think that makes some sense to change that to the buggy deal.
Yeah, when I do get this buggy, it's kind of one of my bucket list goals I will be taking it in parades too, and, that's one reason that it needs to be traffic aware, what have you, before you take it out on a parade.
Well, wouldn't horse and buggy signs be less signs too, because you wouldn't need the statement share the road?
Yeah, typically you don't
Mm-hmm.
use that.
Oh, is that right?
I haven't seen it. I mean, a lot of
Say
times
a
you'll
couple signs
see,
there.
you'll see
I
the
just
horse
don't
and
know, I
buggy,
mean,
you know, next so
Now
many
you're talking
miles.
3 activities. Is that 3 different signs we put up? Or are we just gonna put a share of the road? or-
I think I understand what you're saying is just replace the share of the road and the horse with the horse and buggy sign, period, in those 3 spots.
So it'd be no different than if, you know, the Amish were living around here and
And
running their horse and buggy around.
that's instead of 6 signs right now, it's 3 signs right now, which covers current and future
Right.
activity.
And you may have an issue someday with bicycles and stuff too, but right now, at least to solve this.
I think we currently have bicycle signs out there, right?
I don't know where they are
No,
specifically.
Okay,
So
all right, how about a motion?
if we move to take Paul's recommendation and just convert, instead of the horse and the share of the road sign, use a horse and buggy sign for those 3 locations.
So is that a motion?
I so move.
So are you going to? We don't have a horse and buggy now.
Yeah.
Are you going to? Wait until, I mean,
When do you think you'll have the horse and buggy?
I got a farrier that showed me one on, the 19th this month, and then I have a sister-in-law that she refurbished her dad's buggy, and she wants me to bring it to my house because the horses are there.
So soon.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
So can we do this and make it contingent upon her getting the buggy?
I think we're doing this because the horse is dragging too.
right, we are.
You guys make a motion then, you know, if you, if you
no,
don't like mine,
and I
make your
know, I
own.
know I'm hesitant and
Yeah.
I'm just.
You know,
I
we either
don't know where
need to
it's
say
gonna
no
stop.
or say yes to
And then you
something.
have somebody else coming down that road and saying, I want signs on my road because I want to ride my horses out in the middle of the road.
We don't.
And
ride out in the middle of the road.
And everything, it sounds like we're doing it all for.
Okay, then say,
I guess personal
put
reasons.
forward a motion to
And-
deny then.
I'll make a motion.
Uh-huh.
I make a motion that we honor the request as made for the horses. The horse sign. I think horses are a legitimate vehicle being traveled on the road. I think skateboards and unicycles and all those other things are a little less likely to be requested. And I understand Lisa's point, but if there's a horse and there's a buggy, the buggy's gonna have a horse. She's got horses now. I think it makes sense to do the horse.
Doing the horse or doing the horse and buggy?
I understand your motion to be just accepting Paul's recommendation. Is that right,
Yes.
Amanda?
That is right. Yes.
Okay. So the motion is to do exactly what Paul said, equestrian warning signs will share the road and supplemental signs. Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Amanda, are you voting?
Sorry, I was swallowing water.
All opposed, say nay.
No.
3-2, I think. 3-1 and 1 abstention. It passed.
Thank you.
What are you doing, Lisa?
You abstaining or voting nay?
I abstain.
Abstain.
3-1-1.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Let us know when you get the horse and buggy.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Is this sign gonna cover the buggy as well?
No,
I'm thinking-
this is just as Paul's recommendation. It was approved.
I think that this would probably include the buggy.
I think you're correct.
Yeah.
They're looking for a horse.
Yeah,
As long as, yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what I
One or
was.
the other. I don't think we can put both of
Well, we don't have an unlimited budget either. To
them.
be putting these signs up and then we're gonna turn around as
well, I was told if I bought the signs. That's what I was told. I spent some money on signs. You know, when I bought the triangle sign, share the road, the bikes and the walkers.
I don't know who you talk to, because I would like to get to the bottom.
Yeah, whoever answers the phone. But then when I called back and I said, you want me to bring the signs over? They said, well, we gotta maybe ask the
Might have been.
engineer about
Monroe
this.
County,
Yeah, that's what I said, I'd like to know who you talked to, because
It could have
my
been
guy
we
that
had
usually
a-
sits there knows
Could
to
have
tell
been
you
a pimp
exactly
down there
what
that
he
day
told
though.
you. The second phone call.
To talk to the engineer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We can't just go out and put signs up. They have to go through here and be approved to be in the right of way, and they have to be a certain size and a certain dimension and have certain reflectivity. And they have to be on a certain post.
Yeah.
That's why it really surprised me that somebody told you that. That I just don't know,
Yeah,
it just baffles me.
yeah. Well.
And so I apologize that you was, if you called here and got
Yeah.
told that,
Yeah,
because that's something I would like to correct.
yeah, it's done, did now, but, and I put the money into a sign, but anyway, I appreciate,
You're welcome. Thank you. Thank you for coming.
yeah. If you further introduce kids to horses and parades and riding,
Very good.
thank you.
We're gonna move on to new business now. Item A is the Hilly 100 bicycling event.
Yeah, we have Mark and Agueda here today.
Mark who?
Mark Bettinger is here
Okay.
and Agueda.
All right. So Mark or what was the other person?
I believe it's pronounced Agueda.
Agueda or Mark?
Mhm.
Anybody want to speak on this?
Hello, it's Agatha.
Okay.
Agueda.
What do you have to say about this?
Can you repeat, please?
We just wondered if one of you wanted to present this for the Hilly 100.
I think Mark was going to, but I'm not sure what's going on. So we are doing the same routes as we were last year. Nothing has changed. And basically, we want to address any concerns that you guys have. I know one of them was Mount Tabor, and we've already discussed with um, the police department and at the locals meeting some ideas to control the traffic a little bit more. It unfortunately is a pretty small area where you get, a kind of a condensed amount of riders. That's obviously a 20% plus hill. We have people that walk their bikes over to the right, which we have signed it before, and everything's pretty well marked. But if you get a faster group coming through, they tend to pass on the left and maybe cross over what would be a yellow line, which is non-existent on Mount Tabor. So, there isn't a perimeter there that, marks exactly, the oncoming traffic side. The idea is perhaps to get an extra volunteer there. And we have talked about setting up cones early in the morning, have a police officer follow one of the volunteers. We do signage um, Friday night and Saturday morning just because they have a tendency to get stolen. But the cones would be placed in the morning and then they would be taken down at the end of the day. And then the next day would be the same thing. I think that was the major concern from you guys, I want to say, but if there are any more, I think we have most of our, if not all, intersections covered as we usually do. Paying police officers to be at the intersections.
So you
And I
did
think
talk,
that's it.
so you did
sorry?
talk, you did talk to the town of Steinsville Police?
Yes.
Okay, because that's who called me last year on that Saturday, wanting us to come out and try and stop traffic and put a stop sign on Mount Tabor Road. Because the bicyclists were disobeying, and cutting over in front of the traffic, and he was extremely concerned that somebody was gonna be hit, but it wasn't the vehicle's fault, it was the bicyclist.
It's certainly not the vehicle's fault. No cyclist should ever be crossing the middle road, but unfortunately, we can't control 1,700 people and what, one person is going to do. We can try, obviously, our best. So we are trying something different this year, which is the cones. The police officer is aware and willing to follow us to set up cones in the morning, just so whoever is setting them up is safe. Um, you know, I hate to be blunt about this, but sometimes you can't control stupidity, and people do go onto oncoming traffic, which I find ridiculous. You're putting your life in danger and the motorists, but there's always that one person. You know, extra signage, extra volunteer cones. We'll see how it goes this year.
Okay, great.
Was that the only thing we heard of?
That's the only complaint that I got from Steinsville for last year.
That
Yeah,
sounds like
and it's
they're-
our complaint
they're
too,
making the
right? I
effort.
mean, it is. Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
we
I mean,
try
he
to
was
make the
just,
effort every year.
yeah, he was just very, very
Oh,
concerned.
sure.
Yeah, I went through there last year,
I'm
didn't see
concerned
a
too. Yeah,
problem.
yeah, yeah. I'm a cyclist, obviously, and when I see people do it, I don't know why you would consider that even worth doing. And you know, I go in groups that are really fast. We average over, you know, 23, 24 miles per hour, and you know, at that speed, going into oncoming traffic, I'm not sure there's much rate of survival, but some people find worth to take the chance. So it's
Yeah,
unfortunate.
unfortunately,
But
there's a lot of unregistered riders who use the event as a race for some reason. And they make a lot of people look bad by being overly stupid on their, by starting maneuvers, so.
I ride
yeah,
that ride.
Yeah.
It's riders from Indy that don't know, that there's you come around that corner onto Mount Tabor, and there's a little bit of a rise, and then you go down that. So it's like, you don't expect 100 bike riders coming up that hill. So I understand if it were me and I was in charge of the race, I'd either put a temporary line down the middle or have a sheriff sitting up there reminding people that, hey, there's this road's in usage for the Hilly 100, but that's my
we
I
we do have
drove
the
the race and I
sheriff.
see that as an issue, but sorry to interject, but it's like
Yeah, we do have an officer at the top. That's always been a priority, because it is blind for whomever is coming down the hill, to see cyclists. So he is actually there, and I believe not only is he there, but he brings a SWAT car, which he finds more effective for people to slow down. So, yeah, he's always been at the top of that stop, that intersection,
never
helping
mind,
to
we already
direct
do
traffic. Yep.
Any road condition issues, Paul?
Yeah, I just, like last year, I didn't like the idea of using D-Lap from Maple Grove over to Union Valley. Just due to the narrowness of the road, it doesn't really allow for, easy emergency or SAG vehicle, passage, since it's maybe 14, 16 feet wide at the best going up that hill, so. I mentioned that last year and, it was part of the course and maybe we could get that changed this year.
Which one? I'm sorry.
The D-Lap between Maple Grove and Union Valley.
Maple Grove and Union Valley. That's a Mark question. He is the one that does the routing, but if he is not on, he's on the call. I'm not sure if he's had to step away, but I can ask him if he has an alternate route, and bring it to
Yeah, the
his
alternate route
attention.
would be Maple Grove, I guess it's called west, to Union Valley. Union Valley's in pretty good shape, so we wouldn't see any problem there.
Yeah, that would be a him question. I can bring it up to him if I know that he looks at every single possibility. There might be a reason why he's going through there specifically. Some years it has to do with
I believe the covered
construction
bridge.
as well.
Yeah, I know the covered bridge is an attraction, but then D-Lap's kind of a problem in my opinion.
Agreed.
Especially from a safety standpoint. If you had to get an ambulance down that road, or even a SAG vehicle, it's difficult and tight.
I can bring it up to him and see if he has an alternate route, or maybe Yeah,
I've
like I
seen
said,
you.
I'm,
Mark unmuted.
Roxanne, is it you that has Mark muted or did he mute himself?
yeah, he's calling me right now, so I'm not sure.
He has,
I'm not sure what's going
mic
on.
permissions. He should be able to unmute.
Art, can you hear us?
Give us a sign.
And I also feel like we do this in OpenGov and you're one of the people that goes to an OpenGov. So why didn't you ask for route changes
I
to at,
put it in
at
my
that
comment.
point?
It's in there.
I wouldn't have moved on to approve until you got what you wanted or answered.
He says he
Should be.
cannot unmute himself.
Oh, good.
He's texting me. Can somebody
Oh.
unmute him?
I think so.
Roxana, he says he cannot unmute himself.
He has mic permissions.
Huh.
I can try something else though.
Nope, there he is. I think.
Speak. Oh,
Oh, now he's muted
he
again.
was unmuted then.
Okay,
There
can
you
you
go.
hear me now?
Yes.
There we go.
Yes,
Yay.
thank you. Whatever you did, yeah, thank you. Yeah, as I gotta said, I do try and look at all the possible routes, and at one point, Paul had actually talked about using DeLapp Road to avoid some of the other construction, or some of the road surfaces. I put DeLapp Road on the route last year because it was brand new pavement. And we actually talked to the SAG drivers uh, who would be negotiating that, and they had been okay with that. However, if that's an issue, we can look at other options through there. You said it was between Union Valley and Maple Grove was your
Yeah,
concern?
correct.
Between Union Valley and Maple Grove. I can look at that as an option. Would you like me to get back with you directly, Paul, or how would you like to
You had a
discuss this
recommendation
further?
on the route, didn't you?
Yeah.
Did you hear his recommendation on the route?
Well, I'm trying to bring it up on a map to see the change that would be needed to avoid that section of Delap Road. I believe I had avoided Union Valley because I was worried about the traffic on that. But if Paul is okay with that,
Yeah,
I
Union
can look at that
Valley,
as an option.
Union Valley north of Maple Grove West is pretty low volume relatively.
I mean, the short answer is yes, I can look at moving the route off of Delap there. You know, it
And
doesn't
if you want
affect,
to keep the covered bridge as a scenic, option kind of thing, that's fine too. We'll
yeah,
make sure
that
we
was
fill our cracks in with gravel
that
so
was
people's
one,
bike tires aren't falling in.
yeah, that was one of the reasons we had, another reason I had put Delap Road on there is that you had mentioned that you had finished the covered bridge a few years ago. And so this was a chance to bring people by it.
Don't need to touch on it probably. Well, it's just a thought. I don't know if you had any ambulances that had to come down against traffic or bike traffic on DLAP or not, but
Unfortunately, we did have one ambulance that had to visit the DeLap Road Hill. We had a gentleman who slowed down too much, fell over, and no vehicular involvement other than he fell off his bike and broke his leg. And the ambulance was able to negotiate it. And the ambulance service did not mention anything to us about issues negotiating that section of road.
okay. Well, that was my concern. I know previously we talked about it because the road surface was rough, but you're correct, it has been repaved, so.
Yeah, when I saw that, I was thrilled. And by the way, we also appreciate that you got Chambers Pike on the repave list. That was a nice section to improve. So thank you.
That's, I
Whoever
think
put it on there.
we paved what, Brighton
Yep,
as well.
yep.
Well, that'll be in better shape.
Run the route past my house, so I can get running.
So as you get your own paved, yeah.
Yeah, easy, easy
It's
street
not
out
dark
there
pit.
too.
For the record, our paving program does not follow the Hilly Hundred route. It's not how we make a decision.
The Hilly Hundred should follow our new paved roads though. That would be a.
That'll make them go good and fast.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So what do we want to do here? Regarding the lap roads, what I'm talking about.
Well, if they're able to, maintain access with SAG and ambulance vehicles, I guess that would be okay.
I don't think they're doing anything extra, anything different.
Well, it is true that by the time you get to the D-Lap Hill, traffic's pretty well strung out, so you're not gonna see as many clusters of cyclists at that point. So that does help. There'll be more single file and, either walking or single file. Yeah, here anyway.
All right, let's listen to a motion.
And I make a motion that we accept the Hilly Hundred bicycling event as submitted.
And a second, any further discussion? If not, all in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you both.
Thank you very much for your time. We appreciate it, and we
you.
appreciate the approval.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. And if Paul comes up with any other questions or suggestions, we're more than happy to listen and work with him. Be happy to talk with him whenever he'd like.
All right, thank you. You have a good evening.
You too. And thank you.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
We'll move on. We're gonna move on to item B, four-way stop at that road and Rogers Street. I think there's a David Carr here from the public to talk about this too.
Yep.
Yep, that's me. So you'll have to forgive me. I've never attended one of these meetings or done anything like this before, but I live in the subdivision that just got put up. I think it's called like Somo or something like that, on that road and Rogers. Just when I'm coming home from work, like 5 or whatever, it can get pretty busy. So I figured I would just call and see how this process works and see if it was possible to evaluate that location for some kind of 4-way stop or something like that. It doesn't have to be a 4-way stop, but some kind of, I don't know, regulation. That's it.
Thank you. Paul, tell us about your investigation.
Yeah, so as he mentioned, Southern Meadows is the subdivision that is located east of the intersection. And as part of their approval process, they did develop a traffic study that looked at this intersection. And it was found that if 2 of the 3 developments in this area were built out, then a all-way stop sign would be warranted at this location. So Southern Meadows is about 50% complete, and the Blind Squirrel development on Rogers Street is expected to start later this year. And the Southern Meadows developer is supposed to add a left turn lane and a multi-use path along this section of Rogers Street. If you look at your drawing that was done by Smith Prehab, that kind of shows the extent of the left turn lane installation. And that road will be a divided roadway going into Southern Meadows. So I understand that, or sorry, back up a little bit. Looked at the crash reports and we did have 3 crashes at the intersection in 2022. But no crashes at this intersection in 2023. Speed limit is 30 for both Rogers Street and that road. And, so Southern Meadows is supposed to install this left turn lane. They were supposed to do it in September of this year, but I'm not really sure it's gonna make it. But I think it would be prudent to have an all-way stop control for this intersection once that is installed due to the extra width and complexity of the intersection. And then Southern Meadows will continue to be built out and then the blind squirrel development will start. So it's just a matter of time before the all-way stop would be warranted due to traffic volumes. So my recommendation is to install an all-way stop at this location as part of the road widening that'll be done by the Southern Meadows developer.
They're gonna be county, so I don't,
What's that?
they're gonna be a county road?
Correct.
If they're,
If they
If they're
comply
built
with
to-
roadway
if they're
standards.
built to our standards.
But that. I forgot if that's our responsibility. Stop
For
that,
the stop signs.
like it is at this point.
I thought the always stop and everything was, no, it was gonna be analyzed after Southern Meadows was started. It was never, I don't think at the Plan Commission ever stated that they would have to install those multi-stops. My concern would be on the timeline, because as Paul stated, per the agreement with planning and the Plan Commission, the road widening was to happen by September 22nd. And there's been no movement. So I don't know at what level getting that work done will go. It will, if it's not met by September 22nd, it goes to our legal department. So,
But your recommendation not to do a four-way stop until those lines are
Correct.
put in?
Well, I would recommend that it's done as part of
As
the
part of it
road
at the same
improvements because of the width and the complexity. Will make it, the situation worse than what it is currently. So
It's bad enough as it is. I mean,
it's
pretty
a
busy.
challenge. Yes, I admit that.
You know, I'm very familiar with that intersection. Probably get through it 4 times a day.
Yeah, you've probably seen it all there.
I mean, I think you could approve it in connection with,
I mean,
The
is there a
timing of
reason why we
that.
can't do that is basically say that as that project is completed, we should execute the 4-way stop.
Well, that's what my recommendation is.
Well, that's
really
so
what
you don't have a
all I-
problem with that.
No, not at
As
all.
part, because I try to get ahead of it in case they do
Right.
more.
I
This
just
has-
don't
this
want,
has
I
to go to
just
the
don't
county
want anybody
commissioners, too.
expecting that it's gonna be done right now as it's looking in the month by September 22nd.
Right.
Because the developer has
Well, it
not
has to go to the
started.
county commissioners anyway.
What does?
If we approve this, does
Correct.
it have to go to the commissioners? So we
So
might
I'm
as well
trying to get ahead of
approve
whatever
it,
might
let the
happen.
commissioners do it and then let
Yep.
planning kick them and say, what's going on with this?
I make a motion to approve Paul's record.
Second,
Keeping in mind that his recommendation includes the statement that the developer's gotta finish these.
which they're obligated to do.
Right.
They may need to be pushed to do it.
Correct.
So this won't even go to the commissioners until we're ready to do them.
Well, I don't think that it could go to the commissioners until you're ready for that, because if the commissioners approve it,
Mhm.
we have to turn around and advertise it within
Right.
the next 2 weeks. And if the intersection's not built, the ordinance is in effect, but
Right.
then we would be,
So these
in
are approved
non-compliance
for
with
the
our ordinance.
future build. Got it.
yes, I think you could say that it'll go to the county commissioners as, maybe when it's being constructed, we have a more thorough timeline with the
Okay.
lane
And the
widening.
residents of Somo might ask their developer, what's going on?
We'll give them a phone number.
All right, That's the motion then.
Reed seconded it.
Yes, further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Any nays? Nope, no nays. Motion's passed. Thank you, Mr. Carr.
Yeah, thank you. I guess just so I maybe got a little confused there. So you're saying that they're gonna do some road work in that intersection, and then at that point there should be a four-way stop, is what I heard.
That is correct.
And if they don't do that road work, then you guys will bother them about it, and maybe then they'll put in a four-way stop, huh?
Yeah, the developer is required to do this work. And when they've done it, we will do the all-way stop.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate everyone's time.
All right, thank you. Have a good evening.
You too.
All right, four-way stop at Weathers Court at Harvest Lane. We have Sean Williams here with us. Speak on that.
Yeah, hi, so I wanted to thank you, first of all. Thanks to Lisa for tolerating and responding to my dumb questions.
No,
And then also, years back, and I lost track of how many years ago it was, you lowered the speed limit on that street from 30 to 20, and actually the whole neighborhood from 30 to 20, and that was helpful. Now it's become more of a speeding issue recently, and so the problem statement from my perspective, and I live right in the middle of Harvest Lane, so roughly between Union Valley and where that Seasons Drive is that comes up between the storage place and the fire station there. So since that road has been made a through road, that's really increased the number of people cutting through to neighbor subdivisions that are further down Union Valley or across, like Woodgate and Union Valley Farms and et cetera, et cetera. It's not super logical to me to cut through our neighborhood, but yet it's this proliferation of behavior. It would make sense to me. You have a protected left up at the intersection of Union Valley and Highway 46 there to just come and turn left, but for whatever reason, people must not be attracted to doing that. So there's a lot of cut through traffic. And so I read the recommendation and I understand the perspective. First of all, I read up on why you don't put stop signs to slow down traffic. That made sense to me, and I appreciate the perspective. It's logical. It's like written in the state code. But then, my questions is, it said, there was low traffic volume, and maybe it's low relative to like that road you were just talking about, but it's about 5x or even more, in my kind of front porch studies, watching, traffic go by at certain hours. And so it seems to be a decent amount of traffic volume through there, and it seems like it's going to only increase as more additions go in along Union Valley. So if there's not a stop sign, where I did a straw poll of neighbors, not prepared to do like speed humps or anything like that. First of all, it's a prohibitive policy when you have to fund it yourself, and we don't have an HOA to bring that in forward, so we'd have to take up a collection amongst the neighbors. That's not happening. It'd be easier for me to run for Congress. So speed humps are abandoned. It sounds like you're not conducive to doing the stop sign. So if you're not, I would ask maybe to reconsider with I don't know if the low traffic volume is based upon a study that's been done or a counter that's put out there. The last time I saw the counter out there was when you lowered the speed limit to 20 miles per hour multiple years ago. And I don't know what the requirement is, how much traffic has to warrant a four-way stop. I understand it's on the north side of that, you have 9 houses like you talked about, but then you have the condos, and then you have the infinite amount of traffic that can turn left off of 46 coming from Spencer, go up through our neighborhood and cut through to places down Union Valley Road. So it's I think it's going to get worse is where I'm going with this. And so I don't think there's any other alternatives though. It's what else can you do to deter people from coming through there? Or when they do come through, what can slow them down? Without speed humps, I don't think there's any viable. So what I'm asking for is maybe to reconsider this four-way stop, not to slow down traffic, but to get people to abandon the idea it's a better idea to cut through than it is to use Union Valley.
and I think in the, I think in the MUTCD, I know a multi-way stop in like a subdivision is based on how many cars entering, which is an extremely high number if I remember
Yeah,
right.
there's also a provision for if you got a four-legged intersection in a subdivision and your
It has to be
volumes
the volume are similar.
are balanced or similar. Like we've done one at the Highlands at McDougal and Hennessy, I think it was. Where the traffic volumes were approximately the same on both legs, and having just a two-way stop was causing some difficulties. And we changed that to an all-way stop. But I think this is a little bit different situation since it's essentially a T intersection, and I didn't notice a lot of traffic. Of course, on Weathers Court.
But it's not a T, right?
Well, it stubs off to the north.
But the
It-
one,
it
in the
is
one end is
Shortly
the
past,
stuff.
there's
is
like
the
9
cul
houses
back.
beyond
Yeah.
the one way.
Nine
But to your
houses.
point, it's not an even balance. It's like 80% Harvest Lane traffic and about 20% people either
Correct.
coming out of those 9 houses or coming the other way to turn right. Some of the cut throughers come in by the Circle K station between the Circle K and the car wash on Briargate and then cut through. But that behavior has been reduced since the Seasons Drive is kind of an easier, there's no.
And
there's
that's
nothing
what,
to do
and
with it
that's
other
what
than a
he was
storage unit.
saying. You
Yeah.
have 80% of the traffic on Harvest.
That's right.
And the way the MUTCD reads, you would have to have 50% of the traffic entering from those legs on Weathers and Harvest to
Right.
make
And
it
there's
a
no way it's gonna
multi-way stop.
even up. It's
Yeah,
only gonna
that's-
get- the harvest volume's only gonna go up as people figure out Seasons Drives there.
Right, right.
Yeah. It is a public road.
So Paul,
What's unfortunate is we were hoping it wouldn't be.
what's your recommendation here?
Till the snow comes.
Recommendation
Fade the
is
matter.
is not to install an all-way stop. And, as Lisa had mentioned in previous correspondence, all-way stop control cannot be used to control speeds in a neighborhood. And then I recommended that if they're interested in the speed humps, they can fill out the application and go with that route.
And it wouldn't amaze me if no one ever did that because it's, to get a neighborhood to agree and an HOA or the
Yeah.
neighbors to fund it, no one's ever gonna do it. So, and
No.
we're on that list of people that are never gonna do it.
Yeah. Um,
Have a motion?
Also, well,
Pardon
I know the Highlands, they were looking at speed humps, but they couldn't cough up the money either, but we did allow them to put up a, electronic speed sign.
but
So,
they have an HOA too.
correct, but didn't cost as much as, multiple speed humps and maybe even more effective than a speed hump. So if that's something you want to consider, that could be another option for you.
You could go drive through the Highlands, Wicken Street, I think is what it's
Yeah,
on.
we can,
You could see where off
Or-
Ford Pike, and they
One of their
they
building and
kind of put up a speed.
Okay, and they
Speed
funded that themselves. Or-
correct,
Okay.
solar powered,
I tried to borrow the one from work back in the day and it didn't work out to borrow to put like you're going this
Yeah.
this fast because it's, you
yeah.
can imagine it, there's,
Are the cut-throughs going
They
faster
whiz
than
through
20?
oh, they're
Oh,
going
yeah.
about 40 to 45.
Well, you might call the sheriff's department up and just let them know that
That's
people
what I
are,
would-
Well,
you get a few tickets in there.
Actually, my neighbor across the street was a sheriff's deputy and he parked right there. That really slowed the flow down, but he moved away. So
Yeah.
If
You
you
get
got
the counterfeit-
more
Counterfeit. police
I
cars.
have considered taking it up with, we're like 500 yards from the Ellettsville, so that condos is Ellettsville and so getting the sheriff to like patrol that more is, depends on who you talk to. Like sometimes they'll come and take a closer peek at it.
Even, yeah, since you,
I've never seen a ticket issued on that street. though.
Ellettsville's part of the route.
That's paid for.
Ellettsville might be more receptive to doing speed control.
Yeah, but that only gets you up to like,
Well, but if somebody
Get
gets,
the
you get a
the
few
word
tickets
out, though.
issued in that
Yeah,
area. then
they'll-
Slows it down. Slows
It
it
causes
down.
people to say, because basically they're trying to avoid the stoplight down there. You know, I mean, the only way that makes sense time wise is you're saying, well, I don't wanna come up here and have to sit for.
Yeah, but
I find that it's slower to go through the
well,
neighborhood.
good luck turning left there at Season Drive when the traffic's built up.
You know.
Yeah, they won't go the other way to your point,
It's a cost benefit analysis on the part of the driver there. Somebody's making I mean, some of them are making the evaluation, some of that's a better way to go.
And it's hard to turn on to Union Valley too, once you get there. That's another challenge.
Or across it.
See what
I
the
think that's
benefit
what's
is.
keeping people is when you're protected left on the Union Valley's very short duration, and there's a ton of people streaming out of Bloomington, so that's why they cut through, is to avoid that
All right,
intersection.
That's probably, that's a state.
And I'm trying to
control.
deter the behavior, but I guess there's not a way to do it, because
Yeah, but those speed boards aren't, they're 1,500 on up.
I'll look into it.
But, if you could take a collection for those, you can, come in and, show us what you're thinking about.
And
And
then on
then
both sides or just one way?
maybe one way, but you can move them around too, which is kind of effective.
All right.
And you can get them to where they blink red and blue and freak people out like me. And, they've got all sorts of different models to choose from that are available, but probably more effective and be less expensive than speed humps.
All right, well, appreciate the advice, Dan. I know the motion and vote that's coming not to do it, so that's fine, I can, but I wanted to come and kind of express my concerns. If I think it gets significantly higher traffic volume, I'll, revisit the topic.
Sure.
Years from now, if it's becomes like, where it's a major traffic artery. Right now, it's just, it's us walking our dogs and about people whizzing through there 40, 45 miles an hour. It's quite unnerving.
Yes.
okay, do we have a motion on this?
So I'll make a motion that we deny the request for a four-way stop at Weathers Court and Harvest Lane.
Have a second?
Okay.
Second from Reed. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Say nay. Nope, no nays. Thank you, Sean.
All right, thanks for your time.
Okay, next item is, stop sign at Griffith.
No, rumble strips.
Oh, wait a minute.
Did they rumble or
I
rumble?
got so confused there.
Well, it says rumble, but
I would-
it's
The rumble
supposed to be rumble.
Supposed to be rumble.
Okay, next item is the rumple strips for Union Valley Road at Nestle Down Drive. Rumple strips, I assume, are similar to rumble strips. Okay.
I must have fixed it after sitting it out.
Are they rumble strips or rumble stripes?
I don't know.
That's my question.
Is
God,
there anyone here, there's no one here on this one, is there?
no,
Okay,
nobody here for this.
all right, Paul, tell us about it.
Okay, this request came in a little while back, but, the Nestle Down intersection has been looked at previously. But this recent request was by Ms. Kathy Stout. And she says that it's difficult to see traffic on Union Valley Road traveling southbound from Nestle Down Drive. Rumble stripes on Union Valley would help to slow down traffic. So I went out, took a look, and we've looked at this intersection before, checked sight distance, back in 2022. We did add a side road warning sign with an advisory speed of 20 miles an hour, for southbound traffic. Speed limit on Union Valley is 35, Nestle Down is 20. Traffic volume on Union Valley is 6,200 vehicles per day. And Union Valley is scheduled to be repaved in 2025, is that correct?
It's on our vision.
On the
board.
wish list, okay.
On our
See, there's
vision.
only 100 guys there, that's fine.
Is it like,
Aha.
is that close to Easy Street?
Yeah, it's right down the street from Easy Street.
Is it? Okay. Now, this intersection is maintained by the town of Ellisville, but we do maintain the southbound approach. So, took another look at it, and I guess it would be helpful to add rumble stripes to the southbound approach. So that would be my recommendation as well as adding some additional signage for that roadway approach.
You want slow traffic going,
Is there a sight distance issue?
they're going
Yeah.
down the hill.
It's the northwest quadrant. Vegetation's an issue, sure, but it's also has like an embankment that blocks, and then the hill or the
So the
road
people
drops
pulling
down.
out on Union Valley can't see cars coming, or the people on Union Valley?
Well, Union Valley people can't see people coming out of Nestle Down, and then the Nestle Down people can't see the cars southbound on Union Valley.
I can confirm that. I have noticed that being a concern, just being on Union Valley.
That about the noise from the rumble strips?
There's sometimes concerns about that, but we haven't had any.
Been putting it down lately.
They were just replaced with the striping.
Well, I mean, anything new.
Oh.
When we put them
Yeah.
in, we hear from the homeowners.
Right.
Usually.
In
Yeah.
that area.
But yeah, that's
Is there not anything for in the future that we can do when Ellisville is creating these site distance issues when they're going through development that can be addressed by the developer?
like taking the rest of the intersection approaches would be
I mean,
helpful.
I think it's something that we need to reach out, we should reach out to and maybe meet with the town of Ellisville or their planning. That they're, creating issues with new development that doesn't, kind of like we,
Well,
proactive on
doesn't
that
meet-
Rogers because of the new
it
subdivision.
doesn't meet intersection sight distance for 35 miles an hour. That's for sure. So,
Yeah, you definitely ought to talk to Ellisville.
I agree. I think it's rumble strips. I've never heard it called rumble stripes, so.
I've never heard.
even that's the
I've never heard it
center
called rumple.
rumble.
I've not heard rumble
Rumble?
stripes at all, so. I will,
Rumpelstiltskin.
I'll make a motion that we accept Paul's recommendation and discuss some of these issues with the town of Bellettsville that's being created. But nothing is done until we figure out if Union Valley Road will be paved in 2025.
I think the
And the stripes
what?
are going on Union Valley.
Yeah,
Correct.
Okay.
do what?
one. Ellisville's got a little skin in the game, and they need to make sure this brush and stuff is taken care of.
Yes,
We're just,
well, and I said,
That's part of his recommendation.
His
Yeah.
it
recommendation.
is, so we can't make them do it.
Well, no, we
No.
request it though. That's all we can do is request.
yeah,
Okay, Paul's recommendation is what's been the motion. Anybody have a second?
I'll second.
Second from Reed. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Amanda?
I
Aye, okay.
She didn't like that one.
Opposed? Hey, that was a-
I don't like rumble
not an
strips,
emphatic
but I
aye
do
there.
think that it'll be a help because there's already a sign that clearly isn't doing
You
the
idiot.
trick. So
I am still working. Shut up.
Okay,
Your mute switch.
we're gonna move to
It's on the-
stop sign at Griffith Cemetery Road for Thompson Ridge Road.
That's in the other town.
So this isn't, wait a minute, the rumble strips is another thing not going to the commissioners yet, because we have to wait on
I
that
don't
one.
think they go to the commission.
Oh, that's right, they don't. Okay, thank you.
But they're not gonna be installed until the road's paved.
Right, okay.
Okay,
so Griffith Cemetery is just kind of like an ordinance cleanup. We missed this of getting it in the ordinance with the construction of I-69.
so, okay.
So there's already a sign there. This doesn't have an ordinance backing it up.
Should be there, yes.
Okay.
I'm used to doing the seconds today, but I'll go ahead and make the motion to accept the
Higher
report.
risk.
Second.
And a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Amanda, are you and I?
I'm an I, sorry.
Okay. You don't get paid unless you vote. All right,
Are you saying we get paid for our votes? Is that?
yeah, not exactly.
Delete
Stop ordinances for several railroad crossings. This is about as vague as I can think of.
Should be details in your packet.
Okay,
Yep.
there's some stop ordinances here that we're wanting to delete. Garrison Chapel, Woodyard Road, and Elrin Runaround.
in Loesch.
And yeah, one location on Lowe's Road.
Yeah, Garrison Chapel got replaced with the railroad signal lights. They do not have stop signs.
Okay,
Woodyard Road it's abandoned. It's now part of the Karst Farm
Oh, yeah.
Greenway Trail. It does not have stop signs. And then the L Ren runaround ends in a cul-de-sac now, so it no longer has a.
Crossing was removed.
Mhm.
we have a motion on this.
Loach, I thought.
And Loesch at the, northern crossing, it's now got gates and flashers, so it doesn't need a stop sign.
Right.
I'll move to accept the proposal.
A second.
And a second and a third there. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Okay. Now we're going to the last item there, which is install intersection conflict warning system at Hart Strait Road and Ratliff Road.
That's mine. I'll keep it brief because I know it's been a longer meeting than normal. So we've had, this intersection has been an issue for many years going northbound. We've installed rumble strips, we've installed, multiple signage in the area. It's signed on both sides of the road for the intersection ahead. I had reached out to LTAP. They kind of put me on the path of a intersection conflict warning system. They had me contact Du Bois County, their engineer, Brent Weinholt. They installed one of these a few, 2 or 3 years ago. Knock on wood, they have not had a crash at their intersection since they installed one of these, systems. And what it does is it's solar powered, so you don't have to run power, you don't have to buy right of way. But it triggers when a car will enter on Hart Strait. And it also gives a warning to person if they're sitting on Ratliff that there is a car coming over the hill on Hart Strait. So it gives a warning to both drivers that there could be a conflict. So I wanted to run this past you guys, that I would like to try this at one of our intersections. I know we have other ones out there that are issues. We had a fatality at this intersection last year. A person ran off the road and hit a tree, I believe. And I've seen it on many places on social media, wishing that the county would address the issue there. The only other way you can do it is cut the hill crest, and we don't have the funding to go out there and cut the hill crest and buy right of way and,
Yeah, it's just not a great intersection.
it's not. So I just wanted to run it past you guys, to see, just to let you know that that was kind of something we're gonna try, in-house to see if it works. Discussed it with Paul. There's, could be a couple other intersections we might look at down the road that could, possibly benefit from it. They have similar, systems set up, State Road 46 and I think Brummets Creek Road.
Sewell
Road. That the state has put in a little bit more of a advanced system, but it also is a intersection conflict monitoring system. Theirs, I think, is power.
Yeah,
It's
process.
a $250,000 installation. This equipment here is around 25,000.
So it's basically kind of like a flasher that's
Mhm.
sensing,
It's
is it only
sensing when-
flashing when there's traffic coming?
It's
from-
only gonna warn when there is a conflict.
So that kind of trains people to know, like, hey, when it's flashing, it really means
There's
something.
somebody gonna be
Mhm.
pulling out of
Don't
Rattle
they,
Road.
do they have some of those on 46 heading over towards?
They do.
Nashville?
46 and Sewell Road,
Yeah, those are high dollar.
but those are a
Okay.
lot more expensive.
Well, so they've got power that's fed to them and that's where the
Correct.
money comes from.
Yep.
Instead of going just to solar.
Well, they've got signs that are, down the road, both
Leading up
sides,
to it.
and a lot of conduit.
Seems like a good idea to me.
I know, it seems like a really good idea for an area where it's hard to find a better solution.
They have them out near Harrodsburg too, and
What's your question?
they're not Harrodsburg, what is the name of it? I think it's out on 45 and 54.
Hell,
Yeah, and it's
Oh,
amazing.
It just kind
So-
of gives that extra warning.
Yeah, well, I
What
mean,
is this?
you get, when it's just a straight flasher flashing all the time, it's kind of like, oh, flashing all the time.
Exactly.
So.
This
is-
really
is telling me there's something coming.
Yeah. It's basically,
I would like to know if somebody's sitting down there waiting to turn on right.
Good, yeah.
That's where I get scared is when I'm sitting down there, getting ready to turn on
Well,
right.
this
Yeah.
system here won't
Coming down.
It won't
Yeah.
detect a standing car turning left.
it'll detect you coming up to show that there is a conflict.
Yeah, but it won't tell you there's a car sitting
Is this-
turned left.
Has it, so like, would the person sitting on Ratliff get any indication of what's
Yes,
going on?
The person on Ratliff gets installed on Ratliff and it's on Hart Street.
Okay, so
So
they're
either
also,
one is
they're
gonna
also
be
seeing flash
notified
or
that there's
traffic.
going to be a
So
conflict.
if I can't see over the hill, I'm gonna see the
Sounds
flash.
like a great idea.
It's something new, might not, I mean,
Is this something that needs approved for
No.
Hart Street and Ratland? No, this
We
is
don't
just
need
a
to approve
discussion.
this or
I
anything.
don't think so.
It's a warning device. It's not.
I mean,
It's just a
regulatory
warning
sign.
device. It's not going to.
it's
the
not like a
commissioners or
traffic
anything.
signal, so,
No.
okay. So this is just.
But, you know, it seems like one of the things that, you know, some form of training for people, helping the public understand what that's doing,
Mhm.
it would be useful, but, you know.
Maybe. I think Ratliff's a little more complicated because, you're waiting to turn left. And if somebody's doing 50 mph popping over that hill, you're gonna,
Well, it seems like we've
You're gonna
addressed
get
two or
hit.
three situations of late, like the Bluebird teeing into
but it,
over on the east side of town, and then some of these others down through here, where
Yeah.
there's just like hills coming and
Harmony,
roads
money.
teeing
I think
into.
this is a good start, but maybe we
Yeah.
could expand it with maybe a speed board for your northbound traffic. To let them know that if you're going more than 30 mph, you're gonna have a
Yeah.
big surprise over the hill kind of thing, so.
It's great.
Maybe
It's
it's
a
a
great
great
try.
flexibility to do
Let's
that.
try it, see how it works.
I don't know.
Yeah. Like I said, it's something new. Like I said, we've reached out to LTAP and this is what they suggested and Du Bois County's had really good luck with it.
Did they send you any drawings or anything of how they installed it?
No, but we can,
Can we probably
yeah,
get
we can
that?
work with
Okay.
TAPCO on that. Yep,
Yeah, that'd be good to see that.
yep.
Other discussion, anything else we need to talk about today?
You guys have anything to say about the Fullerton Pike project? I mean,
Set
has schedule
beams
behind,
starting next week.
right? I walked underneath it.
Yeah, beams
Right.
come in on the 20th and they're gonna start setting them on the 21st.
He's still expecting the first segment to get done by was it November? Up to Wicked or to Wicked?
Yeah, they're making decent progress on the intersection there at Rockport.
Second,
And I know they're installing storm sewers on the east of the bridge right now, so.
when will Rockport reopen through there?
I forgot when the clock started, but I think October.
That's when they're
First week of
slated for
October.
paving, so.
I think they're paving next week, starting paving there at that intersection as well.
Good.
Right, the bridge beams come in, they're gonna be paving.
Yeah, perfect timing. Date of the next meeting is September 19th. Anything else for the good of the cause? Motion to adjourn will be appreciated.
Or motion to adjourn?
I'll
All right.
second.
Can we?
Okay.
Double
Aye.
Good. Thank you all.
What were you saying about
I'll tell you
Bush
what.
Road?
Lisa,
Road crossing?
Lisa, we're gonna go this long. We
There's
need
one
to
on those?
think about a little higher pay.
There's not one on those.
You guys, because we have put it into our 2025 budget
Section.
to double your pay.
So we're not removing that one.
You're welcome,
Yeah.
right?
Is it-
So why is that
Well,
one
you know,
being brought up? These are only the ones removing, so
Comes through.
Loesch does
I
not
mean, it
count.
was saying,
Motion profile.
just at 47 years.
That's what I
you get
thought.
pay raise.
Yeah, I
It
took
should
that out of
not-
it.
Well, you used to not get
We
paid,
talked about that.
Mhm.
right?
For years,
Yeah.
Right.
for many
It's
years.
actually.
No,
rare-
I don't foresee a problem
Rare
with
is
it. We
now
put it in the
inside the
budget
universal.
and we already talked to the legal about updating the code, our code.
Should we tell them about their pay for next
Our
year?
regular job.
Did you?
He said that this was an extra long meeting, so I should get paid more. And I was like, well, since you brought it up, we're looking to double your pay in 2025.
I'm sure glad I brought it up.
are.
Watch those commissioners vote me off or something.
Now, we'll cancel most of our meetings through the years, so we don't have to pay you, but